we are now at the point where they save the best for last, accordingly to them. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler opened up the Black Panther Forever, Wakanda Forever portion with the beautiful tribute to Chadwick Boseman. All right, let's see what director Ryan Coogler had to say. This is whatever he was saying to introduce Black Panther Wakanda Forever to the audience. Let's hear what he had to say.
The cast, including Chad, they hadn't seen the footage yet. So when we played it, you know, he was right next to me and he was excited. And he grabbed my left shoulder with his hand. And if you ever saw Chad in person, he had these enormous hands. It was gigantic. It was part of the reason why he filled out the Panther suit so well. And he was really, really strong. And he was getting excited as a clip went on and on, longer and longer. He was just squeezing down on my shoulder the whole time. And when it went off, he was like, "Oh man, that was amazing! Congratulations!" And I couldn't even lift my arm. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I felt his hand the rest of that day for a few hours. You know what I mean? And standing here with y'all right now, listening to that music from all those artists and thinking about it all, I promise you, I can feel his hand on me right now. His passion, his genius, his pride in his culture, and the impact that he made on this industry will be felt forever. And we put our love for Chadwick into this film, but we also put, you know, our passion. This film has a ton of action, it has humor. It's a roller coaster of a movie, and it goes to new places in Wakanda that we haven't seen before, but it also goes to new corners of the MCU. And I'm so excited that we'll get to share it with you all in November.
Let me just say that this is, you know, if you're new here, you probably are wondering, like, man, why is this guy wearing this shirt, this recast T'Challa thing or whatever? Marvel already said no. Ha ha ha. Okay, whatever. I want to make it very clear that this was always a sensitive subject. When it comes to the character and the portrayal of T'Challa, when it comes to the life and work of Chadwick Boseman, this affects people in many different ways. I mean, for me personally, Chadwick Boseman was one of my favorite actors, just period. I had the opportunity to interview him for 5-6 minutes, and when I tell you I was ready to retire, I was done. I was like, "Yo, I made it. I did it." You know, because that's how much I revered him as you know, from a professional side. And when I heard about his passing, it crushed me. It crushed me. I mean, like, I've never really cried over celebrities, but I cried over Chadwick. Like, that hurt because I could see myself in him. He felt like a brother in a sense. Like, he felt like somebody that you knew, you know. And the fact that he would take on these roles that were iconic, it was always something like, man, I love what he was doing professionally, because you could tell he always put his all into his work. So I've also met Ryan Coogler. I met him when he came to Chicago for Creed, and this was when he only had one movie under his belt. That's all he had. He only did Fruitvale Station. I loved it. It was a great movie. And then he came to Chicago for Creed, and I thought it was hilarious because everybody during that screening, they were running to Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson because they were there too. Everybody was running to them, and they just left Ryan Coogler just standing there. He was like, like, you got the whole director just there standing there. And I walked up to him, and we just chatted for like, I don't know, a good 10 minutes, just talking about the film, talking about, you know, his passion for it, how he got into it. And it was like, just off of that quick conversation, I was just like, this brother is genuine. And what we just saw here, I don't believe he's lying. I don't believe he's being disingenuous. I believe he believes everything that he's saying at the same time. And I don't have the time to dissect and go through every single thing here. But at the same time, I respectfully disagree with a lot of the potential decisions that he's going to make for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. A lot of this is based off of past interviews. A lot of this is based off of things that Marvel has said officially. So for example, shifting the focus over to the mantle and not the person, not the characters, or exploring more of Wakanda, which he just reiterated right there. I've shown you guys polls that have been taken online where people have demonstrated and said they don't care about exploring more of Wakanda. Doesn't mean it's not important. They just don't care about it like that. They don't care who is under the mantle, but they are curious to see what Marvel's going to do with Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa. They want to know what's going to happen. And again, for some of you that might not know, the whole idea behind recast T'Challa, it's very simple. It's important to have this context before we really get into the trailer. And you can go to the trailer to the petition here and read it for yourself. It's change.org/recast T'Challa. And it's very simple. It's very I've literally made this excuse proof. So if you're one of those people that are like, I don't think they should do it. No. These are very easy things that you really can't argue against, because recast T'Challa is not saying it has to be immediate. No one is saying that you have to, you must. It'd be nice if they recast it immediately. It'd be nice, but it doesn't have to be. This is not saying that nobody else can have the mantle. That's not what this is saying. That's not what recast T'Challa stands for. We're not saying that Shuri or somebody else can't be Black Panther. This is not recast Black Panther. It's recast T'Challa. It's the character that is important. That's the point. And it's asking for Marvel not to use the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman and use it as a plot device in their movies. Why? Because let me just put it this way. It's very unsettling, potentially, if Marvel were, and I haven't watched this trailer, so I don't know yet. I'm just saying what I've been saying for years, or for months and years now. It's very unsettling if Marvel were to take Chadwick Boseman's real life tragedy and force it into their fictional storytelling. That, to me, is problematic in a number of different ways. One, you have, well, you know what? I will save that because I'm gonna get a little bit too into it. I know that. Then you also have the final thing, which we're just asking is just continue the portrayal of Chadwick Boseman. That's all we asking. That's all we asking. But anyway, I think it's time for us to watch this trailer. Let's get it going. Let's give this a watch. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, trailer that everybody's been waiting for. Here we go.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say.
Okay, Namor. need to. I'm gonna be very honest. I want to give Marvel. Part of me wants to give them a sliver of hope, maybe that maybe because when they all dressed in white and all that stuff, maybe this is a flashback. Maybe this is a way for them to kind of be like, he passed away during the blip. Maybe. But at the same time, what is the message that we're sending with this trailer? What is the message that we're telling people to come and look at? Now, was this put up during the blip, like before the blip, when he was snapped away? Because I've said this before. If they killed T'Challa, according to some of the rumors and stuff, after Endgame, if they kill him after Endgame, that means he would have died 3 times, according to Wakanda. Because the first time he died was when he got thrown over the waterfall. Wakanda mourned for him. They were sad. They thought he died. Now, of course, towards the end of the movie, he came back, and that wasn't the case. Second time, he got turned to dust for 5 years, and he was gone. Is that mural put up during those 5 years? Is there a funeral procession because of what happened during those 5 years? Or did they just say, forget it, it's all good, we're just going to skip over that, and then we're going to flash and jump forward to the end of Endgame? After that, after T'Challa is just fine with his family, after he's back on the throne, and we just going to kill him again and have a third mourning of the country? Are they going to show that if that's the case? I've said a long time ago that it's incredibly unsettling if they go ahead and kill this character off for a number of reasons. And I know that there are some people in here right now that don't know those reasons. And because they don't know those reasons, you're just going to eat up whatever Marvel tells you. If Marvel says this is a tribute and this is great, you're just going to sit there and say, this is good. This was good, right? Like, this was good. Let me tell you why it's not that great. For one, Chadwick Boseman himself, and we've gone through this, so I'm going to give you the spark notes, the quick notes. Chadwick Boseman expressed that as an actor, he wanted people to see the role and not him. So if you are of the thinking that Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa are one and the same and no one else can do it but Chadwick, you're saying that he failed as an actor. You're saying, Chadwick, the one job that you had, you failed because I can't separate you from the character. And that's what Chadwick wanted to do. When people were upset, when people were afraid, when he was losing weight and everything, he contacted a journalist and told them, hey, you know what? It is the job of an actor for people to see the role and not me. So if you're sitting here of one of those people that think Chadwick and T'Challa, they the same to me, you're saying he failed because that's not what he tried to do. And Chadwick is not necessarily... that's not the way he wanted to do things. He wanted us to see the role. And what do I mean by that? He wanted us to see when he played Thurgood Marshall, he wants you to see who Thurgood Marshall is. When he played James Brown, he wanted you to see who James Brown was. When he played Jackie Robinson, he wanted you to know who Jackie Robinson is. He wanted you to know who T'Challa was. T'Challa's story is not done. in the MCU. It is not even remotely complete in the MCU. What you saw in Black Panther was literally the beginning of who and what T'Challa is. You don't know what T'Challa will be like as a king. You don't know what he'll be like as a husband. You don't know what he'll be like as a father. You don't know what he'll be like as a diplomat. You don't know what T'Challa is going to be like when he has to face Wakanda, when he makes decisions that Wakanda doesn't like. You know, like opening up the country to the world. You have no idea how he's going to be. So if you think, oh no, we got a solo movie and we had a couple cameos, that didn't tell us nothing. It tells you nothing about him. That's like sitting here thinking, well, we had Iron Man 1 and we had Avengers. So if Tony Stark is dead, if he was gone, oh, well, we're done, right? No, that's not how that would work. Imagine thinking you knew everything about Captain America before Winter Soldier came out. You think that really would have been the end of his story where he doesn't even get to be with Peggy and all that? T'Challa's story is not done. That's just one slice. That's one part of the equation. Chadwick wanted you to see the role because, according to his agent, he wanted people to, he only took roles that he found to be very important. That's why he took all those iconic roles as James Brown, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and T'Challa, because he understood the history of T'Challa. T'Challa, for some of you that might not know this, T'Challa was the very first Black superhero in mainstream comics, and he was created to be Black representation in a positive light. He is literally Black history. The same way Thurgood Marshall and Jackie Robinson are Black history. That is T'Challa. Chadwick knew this. That's why, even on his estate, and I'm going to pull this up for the people because I know there's some people in here right now. You're new, you don't know these things. So I'm going to try and take this moment just to bring you up to speed. On Chadwick's, when he was about to pass away, after he passed away, they said that it was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. They mentioned all those other things that he did, but they posted a separate line to say it was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. So if you are comfortable with Marvel potentially killing him off, explain to me how it's an honor to kill the character that this actor wanted to bring to life. Because the true honor is continuing someone's work, not putting it on a shelf or putting them on a mural and saying, hey, thanks for what you did. At least we can look up at you once in a blue moon. Never mind the rest of your story. Never mind what the actor actually was working towards. Let's not forget, Chadwick Boseman was fighting through cancer since 2016, and he passed away in 2020, which means for 4 years, he was playing this role and putting his all into the role. He was doing everything he could to give us more of T'Challa. And some people are comfortable thinking that ending that role is an honor. Explain that to me. Explain to me how an artist creates some work, and when the artist passes away, we go and destroy the work. Tell me how that's responsible. Tell me how that's good. I've told you the example of Walt Disney. He had a dream. I want to make Walt Disney Land, and I want to make Walt Disney World. He died after Walt Disney Land was created. He never got to see Walt Disney World. Do you think it would have been an honor or a tribute if they never continued his work and they never continued his vision? Would that have really been a tribute? Just because someone says something is an honor or a tribute doesn't mean that it is. We also know that Chadwick's own brother, his older brother, who's known Chadwick all his life, not just 5-6 years, working in movies, but all Chadwick's life, Derek Boseman has already come out and said, hey, my brother would have wanted this role recast. Why? Because Chadwick understood the level of inspiration that the role of T'Challa had on young children. Can we not forget the fact that these heroes are created for the sake of being role models for other people? That's why we have them. What exactly is the lesson that we're teaching by saying like, oh, sorry, your fictional hero just died because the actor died? How many heroes, how many characters would we have if they were dependent on the actors who played them? We would not even have Henry Cavill if because of Christopher Reeve. We wouldn't even have a James Bond given all the people that have played them. Fictional characters are always meant to outlive the actual real actors. That's always been the case. Why do we still have people playing Macbeth? Why do we still have people doing Hamlet? Because it's always about the character and the story that matters. So you can miss me with the whole, but it's the MCU and it's different. That's not, it's no different. People, human beings have been telling stories with fiction for like forever. For them to be hindered on only the actor and the actor themselves, they also believe that, you know what? Why don't you give this role to another black actor? Because that's what Chadwick lived his life doing. Chadwick lived his life going back to his school, going back to help other actors, to give them opportunities. You don't think it's a prime opportunity for another black actor to step into the first leading black role? This is the first leading black role of T'Challa. You don't think that's a good thing to keep that going? But this is what they want to promote. And again, they're promoting this. Why is this even in the trailer? Why are you even showing this? Now, I hope that this is something like, oh, this is during the blip and it's something else. It's a flashback. I hope that's the case. But if it's not, and I honestly, even if it is, it's still in poor taste because the vast majority of people, again, according to different polls, a vast majority of people are not going into this movie just, for the action. A vast majority of people are going in to see how is Marvel going to deal with the passing of Chadwick Boseman. What are they going to do? And let's be honest, a lot of us in here right now, that is the number one question we want to know. What are they going to do in the movie to address the big absence of the lead actor, the lead character in their movie? And now that you're promoting the fact that maybe he's dead and gone, and look at that mural because he's dead. Are you really advertising and monetizing off of this man's death? Are you really doing that? I don't care if it's for a good reason. I don't care if their hearts are in the right place. Are y'all really advertising and promoting something that is already highly anticipated? Are you really promoting more Black death? For some of y'all that are not Black, by the way, most Black people, we've already are very accustomed to Black death. We're very accustomed to Black trauma. We don't need that to be replicated in our fictional stories. That should be our fantasies. Why can't we have our fantasies? This is a fictional character we're talking about. Why do we have to relive and double down on the fact that this actor who died and we mourned for him, we grieved for him? I just showed y'all how they had little kids mourning for T'Challa because Chadwick passed away. They did that in 2020. Why do we have to do this again? 2 years later. All the people, again, there's some new people in this chat right now. And I know some of y'all don't understand. You guys are like, no, it's fine to recast. I want you to explain that to me. Explain to me why it is that we have to relive this man's death again after we've collectively mourned for him in 2020 when he died. Why do we have to do this again? Why are you okay and comfortable with another black man dying as if it doesn't happen on the news every freaking day? Why are you comfortable with it? And if you are comfortable with it, I want you to ask yourself why that is. Because I'm not okay with this. This is something that people have been waiting for 50 years to have this character get on screen. 50 years. 50. That's half a century people have waited to have this character on screen. And when we finally get it, and keep in mind, this is fiction, you want to take it away. But hey, we're going to get a good story, right? Hey, we're getting Namor, right? Hey, there was explosions and shiny things in the movie, right? Oh, but I love this one. But what about Shuri? Shuri will get the mantle, right? Let me explain why that is an irrelevant point. Because it's not about the mantle. You don't care about mantles. You never have. No, none of y'all. None of y'all have gone to one movie. None of y'all have paid money to go see something about a mantle. Correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody has paid money for a 007 movie. Y'all have paid money for James Bond movies because the characters always define the mantles. So I don't care if Shuri gets the mantle. I'm happy for her to get the mantle. That does not mean that you have to get rid of T'Challa in order for that to happen. Read a comic book. This substitutionary stuff is not okay with me. Because black representation, which is already limited, which is already working from behind, the last thing we need to do is take one of our leading characters off the board just to promote someone else. Where the other alternative is, we can push both of them. Did we not see both characters highlighted and supported in the first movie? Last time I checked, black women were at the forefront and they were getting celebrated in the first Black Panther movie, and it was a T'Challa movie and he was there. That lets us know that these things can coexist. So no, I'm very not okay with the fact that this is potentially advertising and promoting this black man's death and playing off of that emotion. I don't care if they call it a tribute. It's tasteless. It is insensitive. And I ask you this, empathy. I want you to put a little bit of empathy in this. What if you were his family? What if you were his family? Because according to records anyway, we don't know if Marvel's work with the family or not. We don't know. And no, the family does not have to have absolute say. It's not their property. I get that. But if you're going to dedicate this movie to this man, if you're going to do that, don't you think that maybe kind of sort of you would want to make sure that everything's in line with the people that were closest to him? Because I've said this before, Marvel controls Black Panther, they control T'Challa, they control all of that stuff. This is their property to do. But if you're going to dedicate this to Chadwick Boseman, if you're going to play on the heartstrings and the emotions of this man's real life tragedy into your movie, shouldn't you at least on record have the family support there? Because golly, I could not imagine if I was like one of the family members. I'm grieving my brother, my uncle, my whoever. I'm grieving this loved one. And all of a sudden, this $1 billion company is about to make a whole movie off of his image. And guess what? We're going to double down on this. I know you grieve for him in 2020, but we're going to grieve about him again in 2022. And according to Nate Moore, the Marvel executive, hey, it's cathartic. Right? Because that's how y'all grieve, right? I don't know if anybody has lost a loved one or not, but have you ever lost a loved one and then, I don't know, seen it portrayed on the big screen for the public, the masses to see? And then all of a sudden, you have to relive all that again? Has anyone actually thought about the children? Like, has anyone thought about the kids that actually did mourn Chadwick Boseman? Did we think about like the effect that's going to have on them? I get it. Hey, we're adults, right? As adults, We should be able to be responsible for our own feelings. We should be able to manage and deal with those things responsibly on our own. But why are we doing this for this platform that's really meant for the youth? T'Challa has always been an inspiration for young children, especially young Black children. Why is it that they can't have their fantasy go on? Are we so worried that they're going to be like, well, the real actor died, so why would kids don't care about that? If you tell a kid, hey, that's Batman, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that's Batman. They don't care if it's in the same continuity. They don't care if it's a different actor. Yo, you told me that that's my favorite character and that character is there. You tell me that's Clark Kent Superman? I don't care if it's Brandon Routh. I don't care if it's Henry Cavill. I don't care if it's Christopher Reeve. I believe that's Clark Kent Superman. Do you not suspend belief when you go into these movies in the first place? Y'all sit here and subscribe to magic, time travel, multiverses, talking raccoons, talking trees, and you got a problem seeing a different actor in the role? Really? An actor that you already grieved for? Who's walking into Black Panther 2 not knowing what happened to the lead actor? Who's not knowing this at this point? This is one of the reasons why I've said Marvel can do whatever they want. Marvel can explain away however and whatever they want because it's fiction. And because it's fiction, there's literally a plethora, a multitude of different options that they can take. I literally just dropped a video called The Blip Theory, which just gives just one of like a billion different ways that Marvel could go through and address the passing of Chadwick Boseman or of T'Challa or whatever. Rather than, because listen, at this point, the only thing, the legacy that they're leaving Chadwick at this point, the only legacy that T'Challa has, he's spent more time dead than he's been the king. Think about that for a second. He spent more time being dead than actually being king of Wakanda. But that's the legacy? That's the way we tribute him? That's, y'all happy with that? He spent 5 years as just being dust and dead, and now potentially killed again. And he was king for like a year or two, maybe 3. Oh, but hey, maybe they'll give him a son. Maybe we'll have T'Challa Jr., and maybe that'll carry on the legacy. That's great. Let's also continue that Black fatherless child trope. Because, you know, why do Black people need fathers? That's not a big deal, right? You see it all the time, right? Single parents, that's got to be the thing, right? That's got to be the norm, right? That's what has to be portrayed on screens for when it comes to Black representation. It's nothing different than what you see in music videos or, you know, in reality shows, right? We can't have an actual wholesome relationship or a wholesome depiction of a Black royal family. We got to just take it down a notch, right? Let's throw in some of that Black trauma. They're used to that. Let's throw in some of the broken households because, hey, we're just going to take the father out the picture. You already killed T'Chaka. You already killed N'Joku. You already killed like everybody, all the other Black fathers. Why not? Keep it going. Keep it going. And I say this because they have all control over how they want to tell the story. They are not in no corner. Marvel cannot sit here and act like we had no choice. We had to kill T'Challa. They cannot say that because it's fiction. Did we not just get done talking about the Secret Wars and the multiverse and all this other stuff? Kang, by the way, Kang the Conqueror, by the way, if you recall at the end of Loki, what happened? Changed the entire history, entire timeline. Literally everything is different. And you mean to tell me that Marvel had no choice, but this is what they want to promote? This is what they're going to get y'all to go see in the theaters? Y'all have fun with that. Y'all have fun with that. Y'all go ahead and scoop up everything Marvel tells you and say, hey, this is a good thing, so, you should go along with it. I've told y'all this before. I don't care if Marvel has given us the best films that we've seen in history. Marvel is not above reproach. Marvel makes mistakes because they're human, and that's okay. They are human. That does not mean that they deserve our blind faith. It does not mean that we cannot criticize them, because guess what? When they do great things, were we not hyping up? What was that? The She-Hulk trailer? Were we not like super excited about all the other things that they were doing? We can give Marvel praise when they do great things, but when there's other things that are questionable, we can call them out too. And if you have a problem calling them out, I really question your critical thinking. I really do. Now, that does not mean you have to agree with me. You don't have to. You're free to disagree if you like. But again, I'd like for you to answer those questions. Why do we have to double down on Black Death? Why do we have to force the real life tragedy of Chadwick Boseman into this story? How is it that it is an honor to it was an honor for him to bring the character to life, but then they potentially going to kill it? Explain to me how that's an honor. Explain to me how that's a tribute. Explain to me how that's consistent with what Chadwick Boseman would want, when his own brother already said that he would want the character to be recast. Not just him, but he believes Chadwick would want it recast. And by the way, Chadwick Boseman, knowing that he had cancer while he was fighting it for 4 years, he still had the option in his contract to sign on for Black Panther 3. What does that mean? That means he had full intention of T'Challa continuing. So don't sit here with all this nonsense from anybody if they like to try to fool you and say Chadwick would be okay with this, because we have more evidence to suggest that's not the case. I ain't never seen somebody sign on a long-term contract and then somebody say, oh yeah, they wanted to leave early. They would be okay if we fired them early. What? This is one of the reasons why I started Recast T'Challa. I started the petition because the moment Marvel said that they were not going to recast, the moment they said that, I sat here and thought to myself, either you're going to put the character in the background, or worst case scenario, you might kill the character off. And I started to extrapolate and think, like, what does that really mean? I'm like, my goodness, the kids are not going to have their heroes. This story has not been told. The Black representation that just got made global is now just going to be nothing. It's just going to be downward. I've never seen the recipe of success for any film, and I'll challenge anybody here too. Explain to me any movie that has been a huge, successful blockbuster hit, and they followed up the sequel with only the supporting cast, and that sequel was great. Tell me when that recipe has worked, please. Now, I do not doubt that this movie is going to make money. It is going to make money because a lot of people are not going to listen to me, and that's fine. A lot of people are just going to listen to whatever Marvel says. That's fine. A lot of people are just not also going to know all the facts and stuff that many people have followed with the Recast T'Challa campaign. I get that. But I do question whether this movie is going to repeat what the first one did. Is it going to get a lot of people in the front door? Absolutely. First weekend, yeah, it's going to crush it. It's going to do good. Because people want to see what they're going to do with Chadwick's character. That people want to see that. But are people going to be like selling out theaters? Are they going to be buying them out? Are they going to be bringing their kids to come and watch their favorite hero die again? Like, y'all cool with that? Are people going to be watching this multiple times? I told y'all before, one of my very first watch parties I ever threw was for Black Panther. I bought out a whole theater. I had my church come. I had the kids come. I had my community come. It was fantastic. I can't bring them to this. I'm definitely not bringing them to this. Don't ask me for a watch party. I can't do this. Because I've seen the looks on little kids' faces when they've seen their heroes on the screen. Why would I want to bring that trauma back up for them? Why? Because Marvel can't like tell a fictional story and allow us to just have a freaking fantasy. Why can't we have our fantasies? We already don't have enough black representation. And no, black representation does not mean, well, you got a bunch of black people, so it's fine, right? No, it also means not just the quantity, but the quality of the roles. T'Challa is a leading character. He is a leading role. The first leading role in the MCU. Nobody can, first of all, everybody doesn't read comics. So it doesn't matter how long the comics have been here. T'Challa started becoming a household name only recently. Shout out to the Recast T'Challa campaign, because now whenever this stuff comes up, T'Challa actually trends. Not Black Panther, not, Wakanda. T'Challa. The quality of the role matters. T'Challa matters. That doesn't mean other people don't matter. It doesn't mean M'Baku doesn't matter or Shuri doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you can't go have fan favorites of other characters. It just means like, yo, we got this critical character that means a lot, has a lot of heritage, a lot of legacy behind it that has yet to even be seen. Ending that story is not a good option. It's counterproductive. It's taking a step backwards. It's not progress. It doesn't matter who you elevate in the process. It does. You can't have inclusion with exclusion. It just pains me that Chadwick Boseman worked his tail off fighting through cancer, which there are two things I give a ton of respect to, and that's people that serve in the armed forces, military, because they got more guts than me, and people that fight through terminal illnesses and stuff. That's a different level of courage that, and strength that a lot of us can't always fathom. And the fact that this man was getting up, going to work when he could have been chilling, he could have been resting, he could have been enjoying his time with his family. He wanted us to see more T'Challa. He got up while he was sick. He wanted us to go. He went out to go record those final takes for What If with Star-Lord T'Challa, because he said, according to the writers, he wanted us to see a black man save the galaxy without even the mantle, without even the superpowers of being Black. He wanted a black man. Chadwick wanted the people to see a black man saving the universe, no different than Hulk or Iron Man or Captain America, because he understood the importance of the role. This is not something where you're just like, throw it off to some other black character. Because I'm telling you right now, when you casually dismiss the significance of T'Challa in a leading role, you know what you're kind of sort of doing? And it's kind of low-key passive racism. Kind of sort of passive. I know I just triggered somebody right there, but I want you to hear what I'm about to say. The reason why it's kind of passive is because you're going to make black characters and black actors replaceable. You're saying it doesn't matter who's under the mantle. As long as I get you to jump around and kick and do fancy things, I don't care who's under the mantle. We already saw the marketing when it came to Black Panther. When it came to a global side, they were hiding the black man's face. They were hiding T'Challa's face in those Asian market posters. Why? Because globally, they didn't think black movies could sell. They didn't think a black character could sell. Now, of course, Black Panther kind of proved them wrong, but that's the reason why you actually want to have this lead role along with others, because we still have to fight this white supremacy ideology that is a global mentality that black is a bad thing, or that any person of color is a scary thing, or it's a failure, or whatever. That's why it is important to recast this role. That's why it is important not to sit here and try and glorify or amplify or exalt or whatever this man's death. You could do a tribute video after the movie. Like what Ryan Coogler just did. He said some kind words and all that stuff. That's cool. I got no problem with that. But why are you putting it on the actual film? Why are you including that in the film that people have to pay money for? Are y'all donating some of that to the family? Are y'all donating that to some of the causes that Chadwick was doing? He has a whole foundation. Is money going to that? Is money going to colon cancer research in his name? I just think it comes off very tasteless. That's just me. Okay. With all that said, y'all know the routine. Wash your hands and wash your butts. Until next time, I will see y'all later. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.